and check in with everyone that I would share Proverbs 26. Okay, it's really hit me real strong. The Proverbs are hitting me so strong lately. So I wanted to just kind of give a little talk on this one and share it with you. So one of the things that you'll notice in this proverb is it mentions people being foolish or dealing with fools over and over and over again. I'm going to be reading out of the New Living Translation. I like it because it's just easy to grasp the flavor of the word. And so that's why I'm using this one today. So one of the things I wanted to start with was look at this word fool. In Hebrew, it is kasel, which is a kuf, kaf, kuf, a samik, a yod, and a lamed. And when you just look at the basic definition of this, it means a stupid one, someone who is a dullard, someone who is very arrogant, right? So that's the sign of a fool when you're dealing with an arrogant person, someone who comes across, they know everything. There's no discussion with them. And I find this really interesting, thinking about different people that I've had to deal with. So let's just start with this. Verse 1. Honor is no more associated with fools than snow with summer or rain with harvest. Okay. So fools have no honor. Like a fluttering sparrow or a darting swallow, an undeserved curse will not land on its intended victim. So this is a really awesome promise. Fools like to try to curse you. They are stupid enough and arrogant enough to try to curse those who belong, who are children of El Elyon, the Most High, right? And this is a beautiful promise, right? That if you are living according to the way that you are supposed to be living, underneath Yah's guidance and protection, that people can throw curses at you all they want, but it cannot alight on its intended victim, right? Because Yah is your protection. Okay. So guide a horse with okay. And let me clarify, this doesn't mean that this doesn't negate the word that says it rains on the righteous and the unrighteous. It's not like you walk around with a big umbrella and nothing bad ever happens to you when you're children of Yah, because, it says we will suffer. Yahusha, he suffered for us, and it's part of this of being part of his body. We will suffer on his account. There's no doubt about that. But I'm talking about like when someone is trying to almost do like voodoo curses against you and things like that. There is a protection for Yah's people, and fools don't really understand that. Okay. So now verse 3. Guide a horse with a whip, a donkey with a bridle, and a fool with a rod to his back. Now I love verses 4 and 5. Listen to this. Don't answer the foolish arguments of fools, or you will become as foolish as they are. Verse 5, be sure to answer the foolish arguments of fools, or they will become wise in their own estimation. Right? Doesn't that sound completely contradictory? It is. So why is it contradictory? To me, it's saying, listen, get a grip, because if you're dealing with a fool, if you're dealing with someone who is arrogant, right? They are so convinced in their own mind that they have all the answers, that they are right. You can't win by having an argument or a discussion with them. You are better off to just walk away, because no amount of talking to a person like this is going to get you anywhere. It's just going to waste your time and cause you to probably, cast your pearls before swine. All right. Number 6. Trusting a fool to convey a message is like cutting off one's feet or drinking poison, right? So you can't say something to a fool and expect them, someone who is arrogant and convinced in their own mind, and expect them to give an accurate description of what it was that you said. Don't expect a fool to act honorably, is what this is saying. A proverb, right? A word of wisdom in the mouth of a fool is as useless as a paralyzed leg. Hello, Mary Allen. Good to see you this morning. Number 8, honoring a fool is as foolish as tying a stone to a slingshot, right? You put the stone in, but if you tie it, it's not going to get released, right? So trying to pay homage or honor to someone who is an arrogant fool is like putting it's like having a gun full of blanks, right? It has no power. There's no power in your weapons of warfare, is what this one is saying. A proverb in the mouth of a fool is like a thorny branch brandished by a drunk. So this thorny, there's a connection to things that are thorny, to tares, bramble bushes, things that are tares, right? And so it's like a drunkard thinking that he's got wheat, but there's no fruit there. It's just a thorny bramble bush. Okay. And that's when a fool, someone who is arrogantly speaking things out as if they have some kind of authority. It's just like listening to a tare, is what this is saying. That's a drunkard, drunk on their own thoughts of themselves. That's kind of what this arrogancy is all about. They're drunk on their own wisdom, what they think is their wisdom, right? An employer who hires a fool or a bystander is like an archer who shoots at random. Right? So if you're employing someone and you think that you employ someone that is acting in an arrogant manner, okay, because this is what this word means, um, or a bystander, just someone that you meet randomly. You don't know them, right? It's like being someone who is supposed to have weapons of warfare as an archer, but you don't know where the target is. You're just shooting randomly. It's not likely that you're going to hit your target. Number 11, as a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his foolishness. They don't get it. They don't understand that this is not a way of life because they're foolish. Number 12, there's more hope for fools than for people who think they are wise. Right? So this is where that arrogancy comes in. There's just more hope for someone. This one is another one of those like conundrums, right? It means there's no hope for a fool, because there's no hope for a people who thinks that they know all the answers, that they're wise within themselves, right? They don't need counsel from on high. They don't need counselors from others. They know all the answers. They're qualified. Now it switches into a lazy person, which I find interesting, right? It says, the lazy person claims there's a lion on the road. Yes, I'm sure there's a lion out there, right? So the lazy person is proclaiming it, but they're not getting up and doing anything about it. As a door swings back and forth on its hinges, so the lazy person turns over in bed, right? They're just not proactive. Lazy people take food in their hand, but don't even lift it to their mouth. This word is our food. This is our sustenance. It is our life. And so I think to me, like a lazy person that would be um, in the faith, but not growing in their faith, right? Because there's lots of that going on, is someone who's hurriedly going, oh yeah, I'm a good person, I have to read the word, I'm going to read through it real hurriedly, but my mind's on everything else, and I'm not taking the time to chew it and ingest it and allow it to change my thinking patterns and how I can operate. It's not really putting any tools in my toolbox. It's just me checking off a checklist so that I feel good about me, right? There's not wisdom in that. It says lazy people consider themselves smarter than 7 wise counselors. So you see the arrogancy again within the being lazy. It's connected. Otherwise, y'all wouldn't have put it in the same proverb for us. I love this one. Interfering in someone else's argument is as foolish as yanking a dog's ears. This is not something we want to do. If other people are having I have a saying, not my circus, not my monkeys, right? And that one's a really good one to remember, because there's a whole lot of foolishness going on. There's a whole lot of arguments going on. There's a whole lot of very huge opinions. And it's really wisdom at this point for us to be saying, yeah, does this have anything to do with me or my life or what you have for me to do on this earth? Not every argument going on in this world is something that we need to get personally involved in. Unless Yah directs us to a battle, it's probably best to avoid that battle. It says that during this evil, wicked time, all through scripture, there's several places that it mentions it's a good idea to hide yourself till the indignation passes over. I mean, I think that applies here. Let's be wise about what fights we choose to join into. Is it really something that we're supposed to be involved in? Or are we going to be like yanking a dog's ears so that we get bit by the choice of entering into a place where we did not have Yah's direction to go there? Number 18, just as damaging as a madman shooting a deadly weapon is someone who lies to a friend and then says, I was only joking. Foolishness, right? Dangerous as someone, a madman, right? Just coming in and starting to shoot things up. I love Proverbs. I really do. Fire goes out without wood, and quarrels disappear when the gossip stops. I'm sorry, not starts. Stops. When the gossiping stops. Sometimes the way to deal with things is to just stop engaging. Just stop engaging, because they can't hear what you're saying, and whispering things one to another is really, really foolish, you know? A lot of people like to call those prayer requests. No, it's not. It's slander and gossip. Best to move on. Best to say, I don't need to hear this. Like, if you have somebody who's always wanting to call you because they're just really concerned about somebody else and have a prayer request and this, that, and the other, it's best to start recognizing that and not allow it to come into your ears, and to stop just saying, you know what, I'm sorry, but I don't want to participate in this. They may not want to be your friend after that, but you will have saved your own ears and spirit. Number 21, a quarrelsome person starts fights as easily as hot embers light charcoal or fire lights wood. A quarreler, somebody who just enjoys the fight. There are people addicted to chaos. They do not know how to live without it, and they are in the body of Yeshua. And we've got to be wise enough, if we want to soar above and be able to hear clearly Yah's direction for us, there's a lot of nonsense and foolishness that we're going to have to be separated from. Separation, loneliness, being set apart, it can be a lonely business. But I think Yah does it intentionally right now for a lot of his people, because he needs us to be able to stop the noise and stop the chaos and be able to hear him more clearly. Now, I love the way this finishes up. It is just, there's about 6 more verses here, and it is power packed. I think Yah saved the most power packed for the end of this proverb. It says rumors, right? Rumors about others. They are dainty morsels, right? People can have a hunger for that. They can hunger after those rumors about others. But this is why I'm saying it's so important to start recognizing what's coming into your ear gate and stop putting a hard stop on this stuff. because it says rumors are dainty morsels that sink deep into one's own heart. Then this is like the throne where Yah sits. This is where our decisions get made, on where we're going to go, who we're going to associate with, what's important in this life, what our commission is. So we want to be really careful about allowing things into our ear gate, especially rumors, about other people's, because this is how it starts explaining now how the wicked operate. And this is not written to the world out there, right? This is happening in the body, in what we consider the circle of Yah's people. And we've got to be really, we're at the time of the separation of the sheep and the goats, and we've got to be really sharp and start being able to recognize what is not the correct behavior of Yah's sheep, and start separating ourselves from people that do not have correct behavior. So listen to this. Smooth words, right? This is flattery. This is, oh, you're so wonderful. Oh, you're such a great teacher. I just learned so much from you, and you're just this and you're just that and whatever, right? It's flattery. Okay. That's what happens. Flattery, smooth words hide a wicked heart, just as pretty glaze covers a clay pot, right? It makes it look so shiny, so pretty, so sparkly. It's hiding what's underneath. People may cover their hatred with pleasant words. See, this is how the wicked operate. They come at you with flattery, right? And they've got so many, and everybody thinks they're so wonderful. Oh, they're just so lovely. They're just so giving. They're just so good. But they're deceiving you. This is what the word says. People may cover their hatred with pleasant words, but they're deceiving you. They pretend to be kind, but don't believe them. Their hearts are full of many evils. While their hatred may be concealed by trickery, their wrongdoing will be exposed in public. All right. This is what is going to happen. They will be exposed. This is going to be a day of exposing like none we have ever seen. Those that are wicked, that are hiding amongst the true sheep, the true people of Yah, are going to be exposed like never before. This is going to be an amazing thing that happens. And here's the promise. If you set a trap for others, you will get caught in it yourself. If you roll a boulder down on others, it will crush you instead. This is the heritage of the saints. Okay. This is how Yah protects his people. A lying tongue, right? Slanderous, someone that just slanders others mercilessly telling lies about them. This is murder in the public square. All right. If you are ruining another person's reputation by lies and slander, you are guilty of murder. All right. And this lying tongue, it hates its victims. And flattering words, there it is. The smooth talkers, the ones who appear to be so good, but underneath that shield, underneath that facade is evil, evil, evil. It says a lying tongue hates its victims, and flattering words cause ruin. All right.